Hey everybody, GT here from GT's Barbecue. Thanks for stopping by. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you're one of my returning subscribers, thanks so much for the support. I really appreciate it. So today we're going to do a really fun cook. I'm in a collaboration with 8 other YouTube channels. The collaboration is called Steak Like a Boss. And there will be a hashtag down below in the description. If you click on that, you'll be able to go and see what the other cooks did. The rules for this are everybody has to cook a steak, but it has to be in a non-traditional manner, meaning you can use a traditional heat source, but you have to use a non-traditional cooking vessel, hence the pitchfork. Or you can use a traditional cooking vessel and a non-traditional heat source. So what I've decided to do today is I'm going to use my charcoal chimney. I'm going to light this thing up. I'm going to set it on top of my decorative pot and get this thing raging hot. I'm going to cube up some nice ribeye and do it skewer style. I'm going to put some onions, some peppers, some potatoes on here, and then I'm just going to sear them up. So stay tuned. Let's get inside here and get the meat prepped, and we'll see what we get. Okay, let's go over the ingredients I'm going to use for this Pitchfork shish kebab steak like a boss cook. I have here a red onion, a red pepper, some red potatoes. I'm going to nuke these for about 8 minutes, get them al dente, and then slice them probably in thirds, put them on the skewer. I have a couple of nice ribeyes here I got from Costco, and I'm going to season them really simply with some of my homemade salt, pepper, garlic SPG rub, and some of Uncle Steve's thick meat shake. So I'm going to cube these up first, put them in a bowl, and then mix them separately in the bowl so that all the sides get coated with seasoning. One thing I noticed, I want to point out on this Costco meat, it says it's blade tenderized. For your safety, USDA recommends grilling the product to a minimum internal temperature of 145 degrees. I assume that's because the blades, as they go into the meat, possibly could have bacteria on them, but I'm never going to cook a steak to 145. So I don't know if you've ever noticed that before. A little tip for you there. I don't know if it's a big deal or not, but no way am I taking this to 145. So I'll probably take it up to about 130 degrees. Anyway, I'll get these things chopped up here in a sec, cubed up, and we'll get them on the skewer. Stay tuned. Okay, let's go ahead and get this steak cubed up. I'm just gonna probably cut off a little bit more fat than I normally would for this. And they're all gonna be little chunks about that size. Just gonna skewer them on. Just get some of this fat off of here, some of this hard fat. Not gonna do anybody any good, and you don't wanna eat that particularly on a skewer. Okay, so there you have it. All the chunks are, I don't know, about an inch square, about a ½ inch thick, something like that. Stay tuned. We'll get them on the skewer here in a sec with the veggies, and we'll see what we get. Be right back. Okay, let's get our veggies ready here and get the meat seasoned up. I do have some potatoes, some onions quartered, and some red peppers here. And for the meat, I'm just going to use a little bit of my homemade SPG for the first round. Not a lot. Just kind of get a little seasoning in there. I want the meat to be the star of the show here. Kind of give it a little mixaroo, technical term. A little more SPG. And repeat. And for the second seasoning, I'm going to use some Uncle Steve's thick meat shake. This is something that I've actually not used before, and I hear it's really good. So I'm going to add a little bit of that in here for a second seasoning on this stuff. So you just want to work it around a little bit, put some seasoning on, mix it up, massage it in, and I'll probably let this set for, I don't know, 15-20 minutes before I actually get it on the skewers. So we'll get the pitchfork ready here in a sec, and we'll get started. Stay tuned. Okay, so the meat's all seasoned up, and I'm going to put them on some tines here on this pitchfork, and no rhyme or reason. I'm going to kind of stick a potato on here. One thing I will mention, I really overcooked excuse me, these potatoes a little bit in the microwave. I put them in for about 7 minutes. I think 4 or 5 minutes would have been enough. Well, they were a little bit overdone, but I think they're going to hold up just fine. And another do-over I would make if I had to do it again, I put on way too many onion slices at once. I think there are like 4 layers of the onion on there. You really only need 1 or 2. So I'm just going to stack these on randomly, and we'll pick up here in a minute before I get them out on the grill. Stay tuned. And there you have it. Pitchfork, ribeye, steak like a boss, skewers on a pitchfork. So yeah, this is going to be what I'm going to do. I've got some veggies mixed in there with my ribeye. I'm going to get them outside, get them on the chimney with some charcoal briquettes in it, and we're going to get them seared up. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. Okay, so here we have it. The coals are looking good. Got my decorative pot underneath, and we're going to sear up some ribeye. Stay tuned. We're going to get this over the heat. Oh, I can already hear that thing sizzle. I don't know what the heat is coming out of that, but it's hot. Meat juices dripping down on the coals. That's what you're looking for. A little bit at a time. A little angle action. Oh, you can already see the browning on that meat. This is uncharted territory we have here, so let's give it some heat. Potatoes are starting to brown. I hope I don't lose one. I'm just kind of going to keep this thing moving, I think, is the best way. That is some heat coming out of that sucker. Kind of a interesting concept, honestly. Don't know why I thought of it, but I'm glad I did. Just keep in mind that heat coming out of there is raging hot. So if you try this, keep them moving. That's about as non-traditional of a cooking vessel as I can imagine. And it's a pretty non-traditional heat source. Although I have seen this done before. Not with a pitchfork, but I have seen people put a grate on top of a charcoal chimney. One side note, I did sanitize this pitchfork. This is a pitchfork I've probably had for 30 years. And I put it on the heat over some coals, and I let it get red hot, and then we sanitized it with some sanitizing wipes and then cleaned it. So it is completely safe. Okay, these things are temping about 126 degrees already. Excuse me, you've been watching this real time, so it's been, I don't know, 8 minutes or so. Hopefully these aren't going to slip off and fall in the coals. but they are cooking quick. Okay, these bad boys are done, I'm sure. I'm going to take them inside, get them off the skewer, let them rest for a little bit. I'll get a final temp to make sure they're safe, and we'll give it a taste test. So stay tuned. We're going to see what Pitchfork steak is like. I'll be right back. Okay, I just got I want to take a temp on a couple of these. We're looking at more than I would normally have a steak done at, but boy, are they tender. They're temping about 140 degrees, maybe a little more. So let's get this off of here. I put way too many onions. I should have just put like 2 of these in each layer, but uncharted territory. I've done a million skewers before, but never one on a pitchfork. So there we have the final product. Give me a couple of seconds here. I want to take a photo for a thumbnail, and I'll be right back and we'll get a little taste test. Stay tuned. Okay, and that's it. Hashtag steak like a boss on a pitchfork. We have our potatoes, and like I already said, I'm sure I'm saying it too many times, I overcooked these. I would do these al dente, only mic them for about 3 minutes, and then I stacked way too many red onions on here. You could have just done 1 or 2 pieces in between the layers, but let's just grab one of these, see what we get. I know it's funny. Everybody always goes, oh man, oh, that's so good. But that is so melt in your mouth. I think it had something to do with the way the tines on the pitchfork got hot. It is so tender, so juicy. Excuse me for talking with my mouth full. But I'm telling you, that is so melt in your mouth delicious. The way that thing cooked, if you ever wanted to do some s'mores with your kids or anything on a shish kebab, that little charcoal chimney worked perfectly. I'm going to have another little taste. It's crispy on the outside, juicy. I cannot believe how it's melting in my mouth. Wow. So that's it. Hashtag steak like a boss. Click on the hashtag. It'll take you to the other videos. This has been so much fun to do. Again, if it's your first time here, thanks so much for stopping by. Please consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel. And for my returning subscribers, you know, I appreciate you. So everybody stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you next time.